Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to discuss the analytic philosophy of education and the concept of liberal education. So, analytic philosophy of education is a branch of philosophy that focuses on examining educational concepts, theories, and practices through logical analysis and critical reasoning. It emphasizes the use of clear, precise language and rigorous argumentation to develop a deeper understanding of educational issues. So, one important concept in analytic philosophy of education is the idea of liberal education. Liberal is an approach to education that emphasizes the development of critical thinking skills, intellectual curiosity, and a broad range of knowledge across various disciplines. So, in the context of reporting, so liberal education can be important because it encourages students to think critically about the information they encounter and to approach it with a broad interdisciplinary perspective. So this can be especially valuable in the field of journalism where reporters must analyze complex issues and communicate them to the public in a clear and meaningful way. So by developing critical thinking skills and a deep understanding of various disciplines, students who receive a liberal education are better equipped to navigate the complexities of the modern world and make informed decisions based on sound reasoning and evidence. We have the classical methodology. So, analytic philosophers are united into one recognizable group not by a common doctrine but by a shared methodology. They use a technique or cluster of techniques known as logical or linguistic analysis or marginally philosophical analysis. The adjective logical can get a strong or weak reading in its strong sense, logical standards for analysis in terms of symbolic logic, whereas in its weak sense is standard for analysis in terms of logically necessary and sufficient conditions. Below, I come back to this distinction, but first, I comment on the technique of philosophical analysis in general. So this classical technique should be interpreted in the broad sense of the philosophical analysis not only includes the clarification of concepts but also the evaluation of arguments. Hence, philosophical analysis compresses both analysis of concepts and analysis of arguments. Besides, aiming at conceptual clarification, the drawing of clear distinction, and the avoidance of equivocation, analytic philosophy aims at the evaluation of arguments, logical rigor, and attention to detail in the steps of reasoning. In short, the business of analytic philosophy is conceptual analysis and argument evaluation. So, incorrect reasoning involves good arguments. Good arguments fulfills three conditions, and these are: first, it does not commit informal fallacies. This means that begging the questions, attacking the man, and equivocation are among the most important fallacies or our reasoning should avoid. The second is a good argument is formally valid. An argument is valid when its deductive steps from the premises to the conclusion comply with the rules of formal logic. In a formally valid argument, the conclusion follows deductively from the set of premises. And the last one is a good argument is a sound. A valid argument is not automatically true. Validity is not synonymous with truth, and the validity itself offers no guarantee of truth. Validity is a property of whole arguments, whereas truth is a property of individual premises and conclusions. So, logicians use the concept of truth to define the concept of validity. To say that an argument is valid is to say that its premises are true. Then its conclusion must also be true. So, for a valid argument, it would be impossible for its premises to be true and its conclusion false. But an argument with one or more premises which are actually false and a conclusion which is also actually false might be still a valid. So, the validity of an argument is a necessary but not a sufficient condition for its soundness. The soundness of an argument has to do with the actual truth of its premises. And conclusion. A sound argument, then, is a valid argument of which all the premises are actually true. A valid argument, then, one has also to reject the truth of at least one of its premises. In sum, analyzing or evaluating an argument involves a triple task. First, checking whether the argument commits informal fallacies or not. Second, certifying whether it is valid or not. And the third is verifying whether it is a sound or not. So the last part of argument evaluation calls for the technique of conceptual analysis. In order to verify an argument's soundness, one has to determine the truth or falsity of its premises. A premises consists of at least one sentence on it, preposition. This means that in order to ascertain whether or not a preposition is true, one has to establish first its meaning. One cannot determine whether or not true unless one knows what it means. A preposition consists of at least two concepts, so to establish the meaning of a preposition, one has to clarify first the meaning of the concept out of which it is composed. And clarifying the meaning of concept is precisely the business of conceptual analysis. Thus, the crucial question about an argument soundness about the truth value of its premises gives rise to another preliminary questions. So prior to the questions of truth comes the questions of meaning, with which conceptual analysis is occupied. Also, independent of its role in argument evaluation, conceptual analysis can be used as an autonomous technique for clarifying central concepts in philosophy, such as the concept of knowledge, personality, identity, moral rightness, and last but not the least, the concept of education and teaching. So, answering the question, what does concept E means? So, it is the task of conceptual analysis in the third period of the history of analytic philosophy, the one of direct relevance to analytic philosophy of education. The attention of analytic philosophers shifted from the ideal language of logical to the use of everyday, ordinary language as the instrument of analysis and clarification. So, in this post-war period, the technique of logical analysis acquired another identity instead of its association with analysis. In terms of symbolic logic, the adjective logical. So, let's move on to the paradigm breakdown. So, concepts are unclear with three proposals being defended: abstract objects, mental representations, the epistemic abilities. The classical methodology of conceptual analysis assumes concepts have a definitional structure, but alternative theories hold that concepts have a probabilistic structure holistically or no structure at all. So it means that concepts are unclear what they are and how they are structured. Three proposals have been defended: abstract objects and mental representations, and also the epistemic abilities. The classical methodology of conceptual analysis assumes that concepts have a definitional structure in that their concepts are definable by necessary and sufficient conditions. So, the fourth period in the history of analytic philosophy is an era of pluralism and eclecticism, with four standards woven together: weaker forms of conceptual analysis, symbolic concept, direct reference theory, and some return to idealism. So it means the example of games and their defending features included board games, card games, ball games, and Olympic games. So Wittgenstein argued that games do not have a unique essence, as they form a family of similarities, overlap, and crisscross relationship. He also argued that conceptual analysis in terms of necessary and sufficient condition is dumb, but some analytic philosophers argue that he is wrong. So, this anomaly has caused a paradigm breakdown in analytic philosophy. The fourth period in analytic philosophy is an era of pluralism and eclecticism with four strand weaker forms of conceptual analysis: the symbolic logic, the recurrence theory, and some return to idealism. This retreat from the foundationalist epistemology and realist theology is due to the American pragmatism and postmodern anti-realism. So let's move on to the exemplary analysis and concepts of liberal education. So, exemplary analysis of liberal education, it involves examining the ways in which this education approach can help individuals become more informed, engaged citizens. So, a liberal education can provide students with the tools they need to critically evaluate information, think independently, and communicate effectively. So these skills are essential for individuals to participate in a democratic society and contribute to the common good. So overall, an exemplary analysis of liberal education would emphasize the benefits of interdisciplinary study, the importance of the humanities, and the development of critical thinking skills and a broad understanding of different disciplines. These skills are essential for individuals to become more informed, engaged citizens, and to thrive in rapidly changing world. So let's go to the post-analytic era. So the post-analytic era, which emerged in the latter half of the 20th century, marks a shift away from the preoccupation in the language and analysis towards a broader range of concerns, including questions about the nature of consciousness, the role of emotions, and the importance of cultural context in shaping our understanding of the world. So this means that the analytic tradition is characterized by its emphasis on logical analysis, language, and the use of a formal logic to clarify concepts and the arguments. So it was a reaction to the speculation and metaphysical approaches of earlier philosophers and aim to make philosophy more rigorous and scientific. So, let me ask, what is liberal education? So, liberal education is a broad and holistic approach to education that focuses on developing students' intellectual abilities, so critical thinking skills and lifelong learning skills rather than solely teaching specific skills or knowledge. So liberal education emphasizes the acquisition of language across a variety of subjects, including the arts, humanities, social sciences, and natural sciences, rather than focusing narrowly on one discipline. So, um, liberal education in a liberal education, students are encouraged to think critically, communicate effectively, and analyze complex problems from a variety of perspectives. So they also encourage to develop a sense of social responsibility and a civic engagement and to apply their knowledge and skills to the real world problems. So next is the conceptions. So what is it all about? The conception in liberal education refers to the idea that education should be focused on developing a personal, intellectual, and more abilities rather than solely providing vocational training. So, liberal education aims to provide students with a broad range of knowledge, critical thinking skills, and an appreciation for diverse perspectives. So, this means that at its core, liberal education is about developing the capacity for lifelong learning, as what it said, and cultivating intellectual curiosity. It encourages students to engage complex ideas, think critically, and communicate effectively. So, this type of education emphasizes the importance of interdisciplinary learning and encourages students to explore a variety of fields from the humanities to the natural sciences because it is very, very important to explore. So last we have the justifications. So in liberal education, justification are an essential component of critical thinking and learning. So the following are some justification for liberal education. So personal development. So liberal education aims to help individuals develop critical thinking skills, problem solving abilities, and effective communication. Uh, this development can help individuals become more self aware and reflective, leading to personal growth and fulfillment. The second one is the social responsibility. So, liberal education emphasizes the importance of civic engagement, social justice, and responsibility. It aims to develop individuals who can contribute to society in a meaningful way and who have the skills and knowledge to make a positive impact in their communities. So, the third one is career advancement. Liberal education provides individuals with a broad range of skills and knowledge that can be applied in many different fields. This versatility can lead to greater opportunities for career advancement and the success. So next is the cultural understanding. Liberal education promotes cultural understanding and appreciation. By studying a variety of disciplines, individuals can gain a deeper understanding of different cultures, traditions, and perspectives, which can lead to greater empathy and respect for others. Next is the lifelong learning. So, what is this? It is all about the liberal education emphasizes the importance of continuous learning and intellectual curiosity. It provides individuals with the tools they need to continue learning and growing throughout their lives, which can lead to personal and professional success. So, overall, the justification for liberal education reflect a belief in the importance of developing well-rounded individuals who can think critically, engage in their communities, and contribute to society in meaningful ways. So here is the takeaway in this report. So liberal education included a focus on interdisciplinary learning, exposure to diverse perspectives and ideas, and the development of critical thinking skills. A liberal education also emphasizes the importance of moral and civic education, encourages individuals to become responsible and engaged members of society. So, overall, the analytic philosophy of education and the concept of the liberal education provided valuable insights and frameworks for understanding the nature and the purpose of education in the contemporary society by emphasizing the importance of critical thinking, interdisciplinary learning, and moral and civic education. These approaches offer a vision of education. This is both intellectually rigorous and socially responsible. So, and that's all from my discussion, and I hope you learned something today. Thank you.